Welcome to Deliciously Motivated Mindset, hosted by Deborah and Moira. This podcast is designed to help listeners unlock their full potential, both personally and professionally, so they can thrive, not just survive. Deborah and Moira explore how natural tendencies don't always serve individuals and provide insights on how to harness existing strengths. Their goal is to equip listeners with the habits, mindset shifts, and strategies needed for lasting, meaningful change. Finding purpose and fulfillment can be challenging, but this podcast offers expert conversations, practical advice, and valuable tools to help align with a true sense of purpose and create a more fulfilling life. So grab a notebook, open your notes app, and get ready to take in some game-changing insights. Let's dive in.
Welcome, dear listeners. Welcome, dear Deb.
Hi.
Hello, lovely. Here we are with another one of our deliciously motivated mindset conversations, podcast conversations. This one, we started talking a wee bit about this episode before we hit record. Tips to keep the momentum within you. And it started popping all these different ideas. I was like, oh, we can talk about this, and oh, we can talk about that.
It went very quickly. We're like, hang on, we're going to record.
I was like, oh my gosh, we better get into this conversation to let our listeners hear our ideas here. But before we do, dear listeners, we want to just bring our energies together. We want to come into some heart coherence. And so if it feels right for you, put one hand or both hands over your heart space. Pretend, feel that you're breathing in and out of your heart space. Let your breathing slow down a little bit. Full deep breath in. Full deep breath out. Feel yourself held by whatever you're standing or sitting on as you take in another nice deep breath into your heart space. Breathing out, letting go any tension or tightness, worries, trepidation, discombobulation, just letting it all go, breathing it out. Breathe in calmness and balance, ease and connection. And breathe out. And just notice as you take a few moments to attend to your breath in these ways. Just notice the space you take up, your own presence. And as you do that, connect your energy with my energy. Connect your energy with Deb's energy and with anybody else listening to this episode with you. Breathe in and breathe out. I also encourage you to anchor this practice in so that you can do it any time throughout your day, just to calm your nervous system and to come into that sense of coherence and cradling and just being plugged into this present now moment. And now one more nice deep breath. And then gently grabbing your note-taking device, we are going to start getting into our conversation with tips to keep the momentum within you. So,
Well, I just want to go back to one of those, when you were saying that, you were saying, feel into my energy and breathe into yours and then mine and those around you.
Mhm.
And I think that's a beautiful starter of tips to keep momentum within you is be aware of other people's energy.
Yes.
Because if you're going to keep momentum going, outside influences might say things like, oh, you can't do that, or you failed before doing that, or what gives you the right to do that, or that's my thing. Like all of those, let's say Pac-Man mentality, all of those outside influences, that's a beautiful one of just going, if you can't maintain your energy if others aren't in the right alignment with you. You
Yeah.
have to change your energy. What do they say? You have a beautiful fruit bowl, with fruit in, and then you put a rotten piece of fruit in, and what happens?
Yes, all fruit becomes
All
rotten. Yep, every
all
single one.
fruit has a particle of rottenness in them, and
Hmm.
that's a beautiful reminder of the fruit bowl. So if you want to keep your momentum going, then you have to reassess your circle.
Yeah, but because you know what you were
Try
just
and put that nicely. Can you put that nicely without saying cutting people off because they're
well,
but
so it is about being mindful and understand there are going to be people that undermine you or try and talk you out of something or sort of say, oh no, you can't do that, or the last time you
well,
did it, it failed.
they're the same people who also can praise you as well. They can be the ones who go, "Oh my God, you've done an amazing job," and then 2 minutes later they're like, "That's not for you." So don't get fooled that they're all one-sided
No,
people.
for sure. But what I'm feeling, what I felt like when you talked about that, the idea about somebody bursting your bubble. That's
Yeah,
kind of what that is. So if you're in a bubble of, oh, I'm so gifted, I'm so talented, I can do this, I've got this, and somebody goes, no, you don't. No.
yeah.
Who are you to do that? So here's the thing, and this is about that heart coherence. So you know what? Tip number 2 is come into heart coherence. Tip number
Mm,
1 is being aware of the energies around you. But tip
yeah.
number 2 is come into heart coherence and don't take things personally.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hang on, we've got one of those four agreements here.
Yep. Because, right? Because to me, that heart coherence are literally just putting one hand over your heart, taking a deep breath and landing into your heart and remind yourself that person's opinion or judgment of me is none of my business.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take it personally. Thanks. Thanks for your opinion. If you really feel the momentum within you is saying, yes, we're going this way, follow it. Don't let
Mm.
anybody talk you out of it. Right?
Yeah, and well, people have an influence on us so much, so much, so much. It's insane.
Yeah.
And but we allow it. And that's why I just really want to emphasize, about don't take things personally, is you don't know what other people are dealing with. You don't know what's going on in their world. But funnily enough, I actually just want to go to the next tip as we go back to our other two, because I wrote down our PEMs.
Mm. Oh,
When
yes.
you started talking, I wrote down three things very quickly, and then I'm like, "Wow, Deborah, that's unusual. You don't usually do that. You wait till Maura talks to you." And but I wrote down our PEMs, which is our physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And if you think of those four pillars holding your house up, or your roof on, if they're out of alignment, you can see how they're out of alignment. You can see that, okay, well, actually, I ate too much today, so of course I'm not going to feel present, or I've drunk too much fizzy, or even people who don't drink and suddenly you give them alcohol. Their decisions that like that's the extreme, but their decisions are going to be different. So be
Mhm.
aware of your PEMs and be gentle on yourself with those things. So go, oh, well, that makes sense because I've had a rough day at work, so really now's not the time to make this decision because my heart's not there. My heart is still trying to fix out what happened at work.
Right. And so right there is to tell yourself the truth that right now the momentum is a wee bit depleted.
Mm. Okay, so see, these just this is why we
These are all
don't
just lining up.
this is why we don't pre-plan people. This is exactly it. But truth is, if you're not being transparent to yourself,
Yeah.
well, you're doomed.
Well, because sometimes we tell somebody else something, oh, I was trying to do that, or I was trying
Yeah,
my best to get that. That false, or even if it's a white lie, is actually
yeah,
just to you.
yeah,
So this is why it's so important, like you said, being transparent with yourself. So let's say today you said, tomorrow I'm going to do such and such. I'm going to do this task. And then you get to tomorrow and your PEMs are off. Maybe you
yeah.
didn't sleep very well. Maybe you've got something that's taking up your mental bandwidth. Then the momentum is not there. And it's best for you to say, I promised myself that I was going to do this, but it's not vibing right now. I don't have that way forward. So now I can, you know, check to see, can I fill my cup? Can I put it to another day? Can I come back to it? So it's about realizing, and this is one of your favorites, is that nothing's set in stone. So when we're being transparent with ourselves and really telling ourselves the truth, we can say, I really wanted to have this done at this point. I'm actually working on a project right now, and I've had to move the goalposts on it several times because things happen, things come up,
Right.
and clients ask for things, and there are certain priorities that will overtake
Yeah.
deadlines that I set. And so I still have the momentum. It's just being informed by all the other things that I've got on the go.
I I think with that, oh, pardon me as I yawn. I think I think with that it's also respecting yourself by saying, you know what, I'm not feeling it or I've got this other thing on, but you must diary it. You must go, let me
Yes.
book that
Yeah,
time
you
and
schedule it back in.
yeah, so you're honoring yourself, you're respecting the task
Mhm.
again. Um yeah, yeah, that's just what it feels like. It's like, actually, you know what? Okay, I can't do this today. I'll get it done. No, let me book
No.
another time in. Let me just, because it's only going to take you another 30 seconds to book that time in. So let me just book another time in so I know it's done. It's not what did somebody say recently? In fact, it was Emma, it was a while ago. Um, and she said, if you don't close the computer tabs in your head, they just keep. And I remember thinking, oh my God, that's so true.
It
Because
is.
if I've got 20, oh, I must do that, I must do that, I must do that, until I put it on a piece of paper, that computer tab is then closed.
Yeah.
And it's still gonna has to be done. But I love the way she analogized it. There's another
Analogized. You're great at
analogized
coming up with new words. I like it.
it. I love yeah, definitely. But I love the way she just said it's like a computer tab, and I'm like, oh, I can relate to that. I have.
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, well, I've probably got 100 sitting there. Okay, so let's just get them out, and that's that brain dumping again.
Exactly. I was having a conversation with the client just this yesterday or the day before. Exactly that. The brain dump is such an important part because sometimes we may think momentum has left the building and is not coming back, but it's because we've got so many other things that distracted us, got us caught off guard. Like you say, it's like the computer tabs, all these open. I actually don't know how much energy I have if I've got too many open, right?
Well, I was sitting out. My partner left on Sunday morning, and I was sitting out in the cold because we found a rabbit. There's a wild rabbit in our
Aw.
backyard. So I'm like, oh my gosh! So I can't have the dogs out the back, which they can go through the dog door. First world problems, people. You know this is me.
Mhm.
And I don't want the dogs to go out there. The rabbit's going to be far too quick. So for anyone who's going to go, you don't want your dogs. I've got two dogs that don't even know their dogs. So let's just clarify that to start. They're not going to catch the rabbit. One time a rabbit actually jumped and hit my dog's head. One time we are on a farm and the dog went, "What was that?" And then by that stage, the rabbit had like long gone onto the other property. So just to clarify, set the scene for that. So I was sitting out the front so that the dogs could have some grass time and, hey, you, what are you doing in our neighborhood? Barky, barky. And I was like, oh, this is beautiful, just sitting there having a coffee, just pondering. And I had a gazillion thoughts. Oh, I must message mum about
Right,
that. I must do
right.
that. I must do that. And I went, nope, I'm not picking up my phone. And I made a conscious decision. I said, I'm not picking up my phone and brain dumping right now. And I spent more time. I reckon I probably burnt a decent amount of pounds in stress going, nope, I'm not picking up my phone. I'm not picking it up. I'm just going to sit present and I'm going to look at that tree leaf, at that leaf in front, that tree in front of me. Then I went, oh, that needs pruning. I must message the
Oh
gardener about that.
no.
And then I'm like, no, Deborah. And I was like, oh, is that a bug on there? And I'm like, no. And it was really hard. I probably sat there. It was a good 10 minutes, but it was so hard to control. I spent more time telling my mind to shut down
Efforting it. Yeah.
because I wanted to sit present. I
Mm.
wanted to sit present anyway. I went inside and I stood in the kitchen. I went brain dumped everything I had, and then I made myself another coffee. And I'm only a one coffee person a day, and they're not really coffee. They're one of those sachet fluffy things. And I sat back down there, and then I got to appreciate
Beautiful.
because I got to and I went, wow, look at that. The gardener's going to do that, and that going to do that. And I went, all my problems feel solved. And then the wind came up and it started raining.
Oh
Um,
gosh.
But I had to giggle was because I said, all my problems feel solved right now. I can actually be present. But it took me so much energy to hold on to that. No, I'm not picking up my phone. No, I'm going to sit present. I'm going to look. I'm just going to appreciate this. I'm going to appreciate the dot. And I took more energy. Whereas if I picked up that phone and brain dumped, because I
Hmm.
was only in the kitchen and put the like kettle on like 3 minutes if that. That I'd brain dumped everything and then I sat out there and then I looked at the tree and I looked at the giggle and I went, oh, that'll get done. That's going to get done. That's going to get done. But I then had the opportunity to sit and be present. Now, my phone kept going because people were replying back to all my messages because I said a quick message to mum and a quick message to my gardener and all that. And I went, no, I don't have to do that right now. I don't have to reply right now. I can appreciate. But it was a real, if you're not brain dumping people, it is a it is a very heavy place to be, is to hold all that information in your head. A
One
heavy place to be. And by the way,
100%.
the rabbit's still there. I can't catch the rabbit, by the way. And now I've just let the dogs go at the back. The rabbit will appear.
It's good
Yeah.
that the rabbits at your home, because where I am, we have lots of foxes. So there would be no rabbit here.
Oh, oh, yes, of course.
Yeah, so that's a good thing. Yeah, there's been three kind of just trucking around. They're really gorgeous.
Oh,
They're really gorgeous.
oh, yeah.
That's
Okay, yeah.
yeah. That's just a bit of lightheartedness. But yeah,
Yeah.
that bunny rabbit would not be around here.
Our dogs, look, the truth is the bunny rabbit's probably half the size of our dog anyway. Like our dogs are tiny. They're not really dogs, Ben and Finn. But
No, they're cuddly. So I've just put that. So what I hear what you're saying about the brain dump and then getting to appreciation. I find sometimes because I do brain dumps, but I don't experience what you did about the I'm trying to sit and be present,
oh
and
well,
I've
I was
got all these things
determined.
coming up.
I was determined to go. I was determined to try something different. I'm like, no, I'm not picking up my phone. No, no, I'm not, Deborah. No. But I spent way more time talking
Resisting
myself
it.
talking
But
myself off the ledge.
so I would invite our listeners to either try what Deb just suggested, that if
Don't,
that's going on, go and
don't.
do the brain dump.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or the way I do these things is I take my two middle fingers, my middle finger and my ring finger actually,
Of
and I
course.
just tap on my forehead, on my third eye. It's like, yep, I got that. Okay. I'm acknowledging it. I'm going to come back and do a brain dump, but later.
See, that comes
And
back to trust
it
again.
is. It is about trust. It's like, yeah, I got that idea. Thank you. And
Oh,
now I'm staying present and I'm going to focus on that beautiful leaf or that tree in front of me. The other one that you can do is simply come into heart coherence. So just hand on your heart, because that actually allows you to, you see, we can't ever stop our minds chattering. What about this? And don't forget that. And you got to email me this. And oh, you said you were going to do this and it. Oh, you got to cut the tree or prune that or yep. And mine does that. It's going to do
yeah.
it. It's going to keep doing it, whether you pay attention to it or not. That's the key piece, whether you pay attention to it or not.
Mm,
But if
mm,
you can come into your body, stamp your feet on the ground. I've been known to do that a few times. Just stamp my
mhm.
feet on the ground to say, oh, I'm grounded. I'm in my body.
Yeah.
Hand on your heart, be in your body. And that actually allows, it's almost like getting yourself into that space of appreciating that your mind is like the clear blue sky. And
Mm,
all of those thoughts, all of these things that we're talking about doing a brain dump on, or all these pieces, they're clouds. Well, think about how completely overcast it can become. Our
mm,
minds can be like that. But with your breath, nice deep breath in and breathe out through your mouth. And you can do that even with the intention of I'm clearing my sky,
mm,
clearing all these clouds. It's not to say I'm ignoring them, but it keeps that momentum of I'm just going to sit and be present and enjoy my coffee.
mm.
And then I'm going to go and attend to these things that are trying to get my attention.
They were
Does that make
insane.
sense?
Yeah, totally. I didn't, as soon as when you raised your fingers to your head, I went, oh, told me that before. It would have been so much easier. Well, it would have been a boring conversation on our podcast. You wouldn't have heard my story about the rabbit and the dogs and
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, and I realized I used a lot of energy in the overthinking process.
Hmm.
Overthinking. I love what you said, and of course, we talked. I just went, oh, that's trust again. Trust is so vital to keep your momentum within you.
100%. It really
Trust in
is.
yourself, trust in others, and trust in the bigger picture. Now, how do you trust in the bigger picture? You go back and know that you have confirmation bias, that you've actually done things before and it's worked, even when you didn't think it was going to. And your trust in others is, again, that same thing, but stack up more where they have supported you or they've done something than the negative.
Mm,
Oh, but they do this, so make sure you've got five things to go. Actually, yeah, they have helped me with this instead of the two things that they didn't.
mm.
Like make sure you've got more of that. Just so you can go, yeah, they can. But also just know that they're their own human beings, and if their PIMs are out of order, God help everyone. Like they've had a bad sleep, then you can't you got to be a mere. They're also human. They're going through with what you're going through as well.
But that makes me think of the concept of accepting and acknowledging that we are always in the right place at the right time, even if it feels otherwise,
Yeah.
right? And so that applies to everyone around us. So even if the story is, yeah, that person cut me off in traffic, or they dropped something on my toe, or they, knocked against me in the supermarket,
Yeah.
it's always in the right place at the right time. Nobody's doing anything to you. We're all moving around doing the best we can.
Beings. Yeah.
And it's about just accepting that, coming into a sense of acceptance and all is well, and focusing on what can you do. And back to the tip number one that Deb
Oh,
brought
when was
in
that?
about the being aware of other people. There
Yeah.
are people in this world, there are people that just don't vibe with us. They
Yeah.
they don't approve of us, they don't like us. I'm aware of that. There's people that don't like me. I'm
And some are
totally
family
okay
members.
with it. I know.
Can I just say, and some are family members.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's fine. And so this is part of the keeping the momentum here too, because if you have the propensity, and this is actually a tip on itself, release the people pleasing propensity,
Oh, sorry.
because the people pleasing propensity would have us try and get somebody who maybe doesn't like us, get their approval or their acknowledgement or their acceptance. We got to give that up,
Yeah.
because we are not here to prove ourselves to anyone other than us.
Mm,
And so it's about really putting your relationship with you as the most important sacred thing that you can do. And
yeah.
that in itself helps you dig deep and find what is your momentum, what's your balance, what's your way forward, what's your balance of being and doing. It's
Mm,
it's unique and different for every one of us, and that is such an essential thing to keeping the momentum, to actually landing in, recognizing, being, celebrating, and
mm.
allowing it to help you navigate your choices and environments and situations, and right.
Yeah. And I absolutely, and when you were just saying that, I went, oh, but if you don't release the people pleasing, they will, and I'm going to say bulldoze you, but you've got to get clear and specific on what you desire.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing. Because
True.
otherwise, you're people pleasing, but you may not know you're people pleasing. Like if you don't know what you want, if you're uncertain, people people generally, if you're uncertain, people generally go, hang on. If you present a problem, most people go, "Oh, here's a solution." It's like, I don't want a solution. I just wanted you to listen to me. Like, okay,
Yeah.
great. But you didn't say that. You started moaning about something. You didn't say, I just want you to listen. So you have to be clear on what do you desire in this? If you want to keep your momentum going, what do you desire? And if you don't know, that's okay, but just give yourself a little bit of a heads up on what you think you desire, because otherwise people will just put in what they think, and it's not that they want to do that to minimize you. They generally think they're helping.
I
But
know.
like, does that all make sense?
It really does, because two things come to mind with that. The first one being, and I think it was my dad that would do this as children. It would be, what are you crying for? What are you crying for? And if
I'll
you
give you
can't,
something to cry about. Do you ever
if
get
you
that
yeah,
one?
exactly, that's the one. So it's like, if you can't, if you couldn't voice it and say, "Oh, I'm upset about this," then if you don't have a reason for why you're crying, then I'll give you something to cry about.
I think that's the standard one that everyone grew. Did anybody not? Someone in the chat actually just let us know if you never grew up with that? I'll give you
Yeah,
something to cry about, or
I'll
was
give
it
you something.
reframed differently? Because I think that's in the parent handbook.
It
These
must
are the
be.
things you say. Yeah, these are
Yeah,
the things you say.
yeah.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to circle back to about what you were saying about you must be clear on what you do desire. Many of us are not specifically attuned to all that which we desire, but what we are attuned to is what we want to feel. So
Yeah.
you may not have
Yeah.
total
Yep.
clarity on, oh, I want to achieve this and I want to be there and I want to do this and I want to attract that.
Strategy brain.
But you will know, I want to feel peaceful. I want
Yeah.
to feel like a sense of calmness and ease and harmony and balance and happiness and fulfillment and joy.
Yeah.
These are all the fundamental pieces of knowing what your intentions are. And that can actually help you release that people-pleasing propensity, because let's face it, I'm got my hand up for this one, of putting other people's happiness above my own.
Mm.
And
Right.
that's that's going to deplete your momentum right before you even get out of the chair.
You're listening to Deliciously Motivated Mindset with Deborah and Moira, here to help listeners unlock their full potential so they can thrive, not just survive. They've shared some very powerful insights so far, so it's time to take a moment to breathe, reflect, and jot down any key takeaways. What's one piece of advice that stands out to apply right away? Before wrapping up, Deborah and Moira would love to hear from everyone. Reach out with thoughts, questions, or feedback, and drop your favorite tip from today's episode. They're inspired to see how listeners are putting these insights into practice. Let's dive back in and finish strong.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And you're right. So they don't have to go, what's the strategy behind it? Because that goes back to that trust. I don't know what I want. I don't know what I desire, but you're right. I want to feel like I can sleep at night with the decisions
Yeah,
I make. I
yeah.
want to, just start with those, because even though they may feel small, they're significant.
They're
All
massive,
the
actually.
all the smallness, quotation, falls into one big bundle when you stack it up, but the smallness is actually the golden nuggets. People are
Yep.
like, oh no, that's no, 10 small things actually equate to one big thing usually, I
Well,
think.
the other part too, though, is that it's much more expansive. If I want to have an intention that I want to feel calm,
Mm.
think of all of the things that
Yeah,
will
there's your strategy.
constitute calmness. It's huge.
Yeah, that's where it brings in that strategy again.
Yeah.
If you can't think, what does it look like? It's like, okay, well, if I want to be calm, okay, so what do I need to do to achieve that? I
Yes.
need to make sure I've got the right people around. I need to make sure
Yeah.
I've got the nothing else obstacle. I need to make sure I've brain dumped. I need to make sure I've done all the tips that Deb and Moira have said today on to keep my momentum going if I'm looking at if I
Yeah.
want to be calm and stay calm,
Yeah.
you
And
know?
and then, I structure my schedule so that there's calmness in my day. And inform other people, because the other thing too is to always stay very present. How do
Mm.
you know what your momentum is if you don't check in and check in regularly? So does that mean you need to set a wee timer on your phone maybe, or on your
See your
computer.
PMs again.
Yeah, to come in and check on your PIMS or check, gosh, this task is taking a wee bit longer. Do I need to stretch it out? Do I need to take a break so that I can reset my energy or get some more resources or right?
Which goes back to our tip of the truth. Be transparent with yourself. Tell yourself the truth. You know what? I'm not feeling it right now, so I do have to walk away. And
Yeah.
I guess that's that you are the boss of you. So you're the one that makes your own decisions your way.
Hmm.
Like, okay, no, this is not going to work. I'm having a brain problem at the moment, or I'm having a mind blank. So now I'm just going to take a moment. I'm going to take a moment. I'm just going to walk around the back garden, look for the rabbit, um,
Or the fox.
or the fox. Yeah, hope the fox and the rabbit never meet.
Yeah.
And if they do, then just know that the fox is feeding its family,
Yeah.
and the rabbit
And they're
and
keeping the
the rabbit's
momentum.
empowering anybody that's left behind to be the boss of themselves. Um, yeah, but also just you are the boss of you. You're the one who has to make the final decision. I think that's a reminder as well.
And I'm glad you brought that one in. The next tip that I'm going to bring in is my 3 questions. Because this is a
Oh,
beautiful way to keep the momentum within you and
yeah.
keep it going. So my 3 questions, and I use these all the time. Um, and you ask them in fairly quick order. The first question is this good for me? Yes or no? The next one is this good for them? Yes or
Yeah.
no? And the last one is, do I want to? Yes or no? Now, all 3 of them must be hell yes, slam
Yeah.
dunk yes, big time yes, non-negotiable yes. Because if any one of those are a little wobble, like maybe, not sure, that's a no. If
Yeah.
something's not good for you, but it's good for others and you don't want to, that's the epitome
Oh,
of people pleasing right there.
that's a downhill spiral that you get on that you can't get off. Yep.
That's right. And then if you're doing something that's good for you or it's not good for you and not good for others and you really want to, well, is that the truth?
Mm.
Because there's something missing there. There's something not really being landed into.
Yep.
It's about ownership, responsibility, and permission. Giving
Yeah.
yourself permission, right?
I think, yeah, and when you were saying about those 3 questions, I started going back to, um, be impeccable with your word.
Yeah.
And when I
Yes.
be impeccable with your word, be impeccable with your word to yourself and to others. And it's just really important to remind yourself that you are important in this world. And so is everyone else. So you're not dismissing other people, but be impeccable with your word. If you say you're going to do it, then do it. If you know, it's okay to change. If you say you want to change, change. If you're going to say that, whatever, then do it. But be impeccable with your word that feels right within you, because you're the one who's got to sleep at night.
Absolutely. And the thing about that, why it is of utmost importance to be impeccable with your word, that's you being impeccable with the words you use to yourself about yourself and the thoughts that you allow to run through your mind.
Oh, and thoughts.
Because,
Yeah.
yes, and thoughts. Because the thing is that when we are impeccable with our word, when we create that sense of connection, of sacredness, of being grounded, of being present, it ripples out to the collective. That's
Yeah.
why it's so important. It's not
Mm,
something that you can pick up and put down and pick up and put down. That doesn't allow for momentum. But
mm,
the importance of that cannot be overemphasized. It's essential. If you look around the world around you and think, I want more calmness, I want more peace, I want more truth and honesty and connection and harmony, that's great. I think we could all do with a bit of that. However, in order to create it and experience it, we must create it at home first. And I'm
mm,
pointing at my heart.
mm,
We create it internally and then trust that the more we do that, the more it ripples out to be this is the new paradigm. This is where we all walk shoulder to shoulder or arm in arm, right?
Yeah. Um, yeah, but can I also just say if you do a whoopsie, just love yourself and move on.
100%. We all do
Because,
them. It's part of human nature.
oh,
We all do them.
yeah, totally. But and I think don't get stuck. Oh, yeah, tips to keep momentum in you, within you. Yeah, well, to not get stuck is yes, acknowledge it. So own it. Just, yep, okay, you know what? I shouldn't have said that, but I did. It served the other person by this, and it served me by this, and okay, now I'm going to carry on. Because when you're in that momentum and you're like, "Oh, I'm a bad person, I shouldn't have done that, I shouldn't have said that." There is no momentum. That momentum is me telling myself having that coffee. Nope, nope, I'm going to sit and just look outside and be present. Nope, but that tree needs trimming. Oh my gosh, that need, nope, 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 nope. Just sit and be present by doing that. I think that's the important part as well.
It's essential because
Mm.
to your point, this we are all humans. We all do the whoopsies.
Mm.
But the key piece here is to, if you have any guilt or shame coming in, that's going to be one of the worst things for your momentum. And when I talk about guilt, guilt is informed by I did a bad thing.
Mhm.
So if I did a bad thing, then I can apologize. I can apologize to myself. I can apologize to anybody else impacted and move on. Whereas shame, and shame is a sneakier one because it's way more pervasive. It's I am a bad
Shame's a,
person.
shame's a dirty dog that
Well,
creeps
it
in and
is because it
yeah,
takes that identity. I am this terrible person.
yeah,
And it tends to make us want to retreat and hide.
yeah,
And so where's the momentum now?
yeah,
It's just completely imploded,
yeah,
taken, right? So that's why you do a whoopsie, we all do them. We all
yeah.
do inadvertent missteps, mistakes. It's okay. It's part of human nature, but also, this is the other part too, and we've talked about this before, is fail, right? So
Oh,
one of
yeah.
these whoopsies could be a failure, but that
Mm.
was your first attempt in learning. FAIL, first attempt in learning. You're not going to say, "Oh, I'm a failure." It's like, yep, I can stand back up and do it in a different way, right?
Yeah, and I think going back and having, gathering that evidence or that data or confirmation bias that actually, you know what? Yeah, I did fail this last time, but I didn't really fail. I gave it a go and it
Yeah.
didn't work.
And here's what
It
I
didn't work,
learned.
it didn't,
And
it didn't work the way I wanted it. So here I am doing this one. And I think, yeah, just getting that, collecting that data in your brain allows that to settle down and go, okay, yeah, I can do this. I've got this, um,
yep,
from that.
I've got this. There you go. I've
Yeah,
got this.
I just heard that and I went, actually, I've got this. I've
Yeah.
got this.
Look at us. We wove the four agreements.
Oh
We
yeah.
did them sneakily in into our conversation.
Without even knowing we were doing it.
I like it. I like it. One last thing that I was going to say when we were doing the talking about the whoopsie is that uh recognize you're always doing your best,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
And that, yep, okay, I didn't quite go the way. That's part of the gathering data too, is that
That's your PIMS as well.
yeah,
It all makes sense because I had a poor sleep or whatever it is.
yeah, yeah. Awesome, awesome.
Um, right, right, listeners, grab that note-taking device because guess what we're doing? We are going back through to give you all our
Recap.
tips, keep the momentum within you, and we're going to cut out the stories. There might be a rabbit in there somewhere. I don't know.
You never know.
I know. People are like,
Then
just
into
catch.
a rabbit hole.
I'm like, how the heck do you catch a rabbit? How would you catch a rabbit? They're like, catch a rabbit and put it in the cage. No. If you
No,
no, no. If you'd see me
no.
try and catch the dogs when they're running around the house, no, let alone a rabbit. At least the dogs listen to me. No. So we might give you some rabbit stories, might not, or foxes.
We'll see.
Um, I love that you've got foxes. I think that's cool. but not if I had a rabbit, it wouldn't be.
No, it wouldn't be.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Okay, anyway, tips to
Anyway,
keep the momentum within you. Stay in your lane, Deborah. Stay in your lane. Okay, so um the first lot of tips, they just flowed. So do you want to start the first one off?
sure.
And then-
The first one is about uh, breathing into presence, but being aware of others' energies, outside influence. And that's when there was a story there. I actually really liked the story that you said about the fruit bowl. You got
Mm,
a bowl of beautiful, ripe, luscious fruit, and you put one rotten apple in there. They're
it's
all,
quick.
yep, yep.
It is
So this,
quick.
be aware of that. Be aware of that. That might be a time to envisage yourself in your own snow globe, protective bubble energy. Your energy, nobody gets in there. No rotten apples in your energy bubble.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Yep. And watch your fruit. Yep.
Yep.
So the other one I had was your heart coherent.
Mhm.
This is how Moira started our podcast today. And just pulling it back to being that heart coherent within ourselves, but also she added on, which could be a separate tip, is don't take things personally.
Yeah.
Just don't take things personally. So
It's not about you.
yeah. And oh yeah, then of course we jumped into the next one. Yeah.
Which was about our PEMs. So this is
Yeah.
about just checking in. How are you physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually? And I think it's a really important thing to do regularly throughout your day, because as the day progresses and as you interact with other people and tasks and to-do lists and your own energy, it's going to shift.
Mm,
So it's an ongoing thing where you got to come back in and see what's your alignment, and always be gentle with yourself. Gentle and compassionate, not a
yeah.
critical taskmaster. That doesn't work.
Yeah. Which when Moira was talking, I wrote truth down
Mhm.
because we're talking about, your PEMs and being gentle on yourself, be truthful and be transparent to yourself because you're the one who has to sleep at night
Yeah,
or during the day or whenever. You're the one who has to roll out your world, but be truthful to yourself and be transparent because when it's out, then you can deal with it. But while it's milling around in your head, it's just a bumblebee going round and round and round and round trying to get out.
drive you
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Drive
It's
you
all
crazy.
all the animals today, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. The next one we talked about, and this is where we got Deb's story. We talked about the brain dump. It's really important. This is doing a brain dump in the right timing, because it's not a distraction. It's a way to get really clear on what is your momentum, what is your driving force. But sometimes we're not in environments where we can just take a moment to write down everything or attend to every message. So what I encourage you to do is you take your middle finger and ring finger and just gently tap on your forehead in between your eyebrows. This is your third eye chakra, actually. And you just gently tap there with the intention of, I heard that, or I got that, or I'll come back. And so then you'll come back. I actually do that. If I'm going to bed and have all these things running around, that's how I do that, is just tap. And then in the morning, when I'm ready, usually with my coffee, then I'll sit down and write
To
everything
the
that was there.
foxes.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's just such a beautiful way to get it all out of your head. And what you were saying, Deb, is that by doing that, it allowed you to get into that presence and actually
Mm.
be observant and breathe into what was in front of you, right?
I think also what came out of this, and I know we're recapping our tips, but I think what also came out of this is, I know we talked about, there's somewhere in here is nothing set in concrete. I don't know where it is, something
Oh, right.
that I don't know where that is. It's somewhere along here
Mhm.
in the podcast. But it allowed me to try a different technique.
Yeah,
And I think just instead of going back to my norm of this, and this, I tried some. I was like, no, I'm going to stay present. I'm going to stay present. And I realized how much um, energy that took, and that's now eliminated from my self-care kit.
Right.
Boom, on. No, no, there's too much overthinking in that. But I do love the tap of the forehead. As soon as your fingers went up there, I went, I know exactly. That's right. She's told me
Yes,
that.
I've told
But I
you
forgot
that
about
before.
that. I thought I'd
Yeah.
try something that I created. Yeah, that didn't work. Um, uh, I've written down appreciation. Now, I don't know what we talked about appreciation, but I'm going to just say what we appreciate appreciates the more you appreciate things.
We got to that after your story about you when you did the brain dump, then you were able to appreciate.
Oh, okay.
That's right. So it's like you cleared the vista
Yeah.
so that you could
And
actually
stay
appreciate.
present. Yeah.
But
Okay,
it was
that's good.
good to have appreciation and gratitude in here anyways. We needed to
Yeah,
do
what the heck? How do we not have gratitude? Yeah, exactly.
that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I've written down we are always in the right place at the right time. I
Yeah.
think that that's such a beautiful one to really help us reflect on. Everybody is. So if you're pissed off or irritated about somebody, then maybe that's you need to just allow them to have their momentum, and you can, stay in your lane or retreat or do something rather than get all het up or allow it to deplete you or drain your energy, right?
Yeah. Well, that's where Dr. John DeMartini says you're in the right place. Uh, things are on the way, not in the way.
Yeah,
It's on the way, not in the way. Yeah.
yeah,
I love that. Just makes you go, okay, done. Righto, carrying on, carrying on.
yep.
You're not holding on to stuff so much if you definitely want to keep your momentum going. But clearly you do because you're still here listening to us people. The next tip I've written down here is releasing your people pleasing.
Yeah,
I don't think that needs anything more. That's it.
no,
Just release your people pleasing. Done.
yep. Such an important one. And leading straight on from that is releasing the people pleasing, but then being very clear on what
Mm.
you desire. And that's
Yeah.
when I went into talking about that you
Oh, the
may
feeling.
not be completely clear on all the things that you desire, what your intentions are, but you will have a sense of the feeling. That's when we started talking about you want to feel fulfilled, you want to feel calm, you want to feel peaceful, happy, joy-filled, uplifted, like you're making a difference, right? So it's that can actually help you have a much bigger picture on what it is you desire, which actually helps also with the people pleasing,
Mm.
because that you brought that in too. We were talking about that. What do you want? I don't want anything. Well, I'll tell you what you want.
Let me tell you. Let
Yes,
me tell you. Oh, we love those. We love those ones. The next one I have is you are the boss of you.
you're the boss of you.
You are the
Yes.
boss of you. And that's it.
Yep. That's it. You get to make your decisions your way. You said that. I like that.
That's it. You
And
you are the boss of you. Yep.
And then the next one we talked about was my three questions.
Mm.
Is this good for me? Yes or no? Is this good for them? Yes or no? Do I want to? Yes or no? All three must be hell yes. Absolutely. The no-brainer. But of course,
Yeah.
because if any one of them are a wobble, like, I have to think about it. Oh, I'm not sure. That's no. Those are no. That actually helps. That is such a huge
Well,
boost
that's a
to
brain dump on it.
momentum.
That's a
It
brain
is
dump on its own. That's a okay, done. Move on. Move on. Move on. Move on.
precisely. Yeah, it's like, okay, I get to keep the momentum going because I don't have to give any bandwidth to something that's not in
Yeah.
alignment with those three questions. It gives you so much freedom. I find it gives me so much freedom, those three questions.
So much. So much. The next one is be impeccable with your word for
Mhm.
a brief. And Moira actually added a great one in there is don't forget that your thoughts are also part of your words, not what externally comes out your mouth, but also what sits internally in your thoughts.
Yep.
Um, and you actually said something. Oh, I didn't write it down properly. You wrote, you said, create within is the internally within us. I can't remember, but I really liked being impeccable with your words when you talked about creating from within. I just,
Oh, yeah, we were talking. I was saying about if the things that we wish to see in the world around us, we want to see harmonious, uplifting, connected, beautiful, peaceful life. We got to
Yes.
create that within us first. We create it at home.
Yeah.
And from that, this is being impeccable with your word. I talked a wee bit about releasing guilt and shame and remembering that guilt is saying, I did something bad. So if you did something bad or you dropped the ball somehow, forgive yourself, say sorry, apologize.
Mm.
Shame is something that's really important to unpack and release, because shame it's yucky. It's saying I am a bad person. It's
And
not I did a bad thing, it's I am a bad person.
yeah,
Exactly.
guilt and shame are immobilizers. If
Yeah,
you like, they literally, there is no momentum.
exactly.
That's it. You can't move forward from that.
Yeah.
Um, I love that. And then we talked about failing,
Yes.
fail, and
Fail.
collect the data, get the evidence that actually, okay, no, I can do this. I have quotation. If I put my fingers in the air, quotation fingers. Well, actually, you can put the other ones up too. Yes, I have
Yeah,
failed.
exactly.
Turn them around either way. Whatever
Yep.
works for you. I'm not telling you what way to do your own fingers. But just actually acknowledging, go, you know what, I have done this before, and this is where I'm at, and this is okay.
Mm,
Just having that, and that's when I went, I've got this, and yeah, so that's got a big love heart around it.
yes,
Love heart.
I've got
But
this.
let's see if we've got a yogi. Do we have a yogi? Of
We
course
do
we do.
have a yogi tea bag. And
Yogi tea.
this is a good one. They're always good. My dish is overflowing. Check out.
Oh my God, look at that.
There's a lot. It's like they just keep growing.
Yeah.
Anyways, the one that I pulled today is many paths lead to the same destination. It doesn't matter how you get there. Isn't that a
Oh.
beautiful way to help keep the momentum going?
Of course that's how it goes. Of course that's the one that we do with momentum.
Yes.
Yep, I love that.
Me
Well,
too.
well, listeners, tips to keep the momentum within you. And you know what I'm going to talk about. You know that I'm going to talk about something, and I'm going to say to you, when we think about this momentum, are you playing the game of life to the fullest? Are you? Mm, okay, maybe not. Some things, some areas. Maybe I'm avoiding a few things. Maybe I'm just, come on. If anyone says yes, then there's something wrong with you, truthfully, because there's always something more you can do. But, just tell me, prove me wrong. Go for it, because I think we can all level up in different ways.
Absolutely.
But from listening today, after listening to this podcast, our deliciously motivated mindset conversation slash podcast, I want you to go, what is your highest priority action step you're going to do today that's going to keep your momentum going within you?
Hmm.
What's the highest priority action step you're going to do today that's going to keep the momentum within you? And let us know. We love to hear that. We love to hear that. Now, listeners, full stop. Now, listeners, this is our 301 episode.
It
Woohoo!
is. It
And
is.
I know. And last week we released a inspiring, new, exciting. I'll hold that back.
Contest.
Uh, yeah, contest. So we're gonna ensure that that's actually the episode in our episode description, because we are giving away 1 hour each of our time.
Mhm.
We're giving away, and all you've got to do is listen to our episodes. That's
Yep.
it. All you have to do is listen to episodes. But we'll actually give you the exact uh episode
Instructions.
instructions, so you know exactly what to do, and it's clear and understandable, and we've covered all bases with my accent, that you know.
And mine.
Yeah, and Moira, who's also got an accent, by the way. But I freaking love that we've made 301. I'm just
I
gonna say
do
that,
too.
301. And I have to giggle because our 301 episode is tips to keep momentum within us.
Yes.
Of
My
course.
goodness. We've got
We're,
staying power.
we've definitely got staying power, and we've evolved over the years. By
Yes.
crikey, we've evolved over the years. Yeah.
That we
Yeah,
have.
we have. Thank
That we
goodness.
have.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Yep.
So, listeners, thank you very much for today. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for listening. Thank you in anticipation of you entering our competition and also sharing the insights from today. We value hearing that. And thank you, Moira.
Thank you, dear Deb.
Thank you, Moira, for listening and engaging and keeping me on track with my notes and with your beautiful genius insights and your yogi.
And my yogi tea bag.
Yep. Thank you, yogi tea bag people. Yep.
Thank you,
Perfect.
dear Deb. I love these conversations. Thank you, listeners. We'll catch
Thanks,
you next
listeners.
time.
See ya.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you for tuning into Deliciously Motivated Mindset with Deborah and Moira, where the mission is to help listeners unlock their full potential and thrive, not just survive. As the episode comes to a close, they trust you've gained some powerful insights. If you haven't already, take a moment to reflect on one key takeaway that you'll apply right away. Before we wrap things up, Deborah and Moira would love to hear from you. Reach out with thoughts, questions, or feedback and drop your favorite tip from today's episode. They're inspired to see how you're putting your insights into action. Thanks for listening, and remember to keep thriving.